Fandom Styling, Adventures in Pop Culture, is brought to you by StylinOnline.com.
What's up, fans? It's KP here at MegaCon in Orlando. Mr. Michael Dorn, how are you?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. All of us Star Trek fans will always remember Worf.
Yes.
You've done such a, I'll say, brilliant job with that character.
Thank you.
And I think the testament to that character is the longevity and in how many instances Worf had to be there. Right? From that first show, through the movies, through everything. Worf was one of those characters that was always there. Do you have any recollections or any perception of why?
It began because they took a look at the original, not the original group, but our Next Generation group.
Mm-hmm.
What they did in the original series was that Shatner was all these guys.
Right.
I mean, basically he was a diplomat, he was the angry guy,
right.
He was all this type of stuff, the lover and all that. And they didn't have that, and they changed it from where Picard would look around and ask for opinions.
Right.
And everybody would give these wonderful opinions, and oh, we should do this. And there just wasn't any type of conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And they always felt that you need some type of conflict.
Right.
And when I got there, I looked around and made the same judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just created this character who was mad at everybody, who just hated, when they told him to do something very minor,
right.
He's pissed. And Worf was the guy that said what everybody didn't want to say,
right.
Which was, let's fight.
Nice.
We have to be careful. Put up shields, armed torpedoes,
right,
whatever
right,
the case. The thing with Worf was that I started out with my voice like this.
Right.
And Gene Roddenberry said, hey, look, we got to change it because it sounds too American. It sounds
right.
too like, Los Angeles.
Right.
And we just came up with this idea of Worf, being gruff and surly and his voice being real low and also being a little more English in terms of, like
the formalities,
the formality,
right, the enunciations.
Yeah, no conjunctions or contractions.
Contractions, right.
And so that's how that kind of came about. And the voice just started to go lower and lower, and it kind of suited him.
Right.
And plus the other thing too is Worf is a man of few words.
Yeah.
He really isn't, he doesn't go on and on and on, big long speeches. He basically, you ask him a question, he says yes or no or I don't know. And then it became interesting because he became a comedian. He didn't mean to be, but he would say stuff and people would, the audience would go crazy. They
Particularly in those varying situations, right?
Yeah.
When he continues to be who he is, it is a bit, that contrast and variance kind of does lead to humor.
Exactly. And so, and it became a thing where the audience really started really, taking to Worf and really loved the character, and they had to put him in there. They had to, write situations where he was there.
Right.
And luckily enough, the situations weren't forced. It was all sort of organic how it happened. So,
right.
So I was very happy with that.
Well, I think what Star Trek fans may not realize, because they get very territorial about a lot of the properties, is the expanse of work that you have been in your career. Right? A couple of the things that stood out to me, not only was it the other types of fantasy sci-fi stuff, right? There was some Superman things, there were things outside of that, but there's an awful lot of voiceover work.
Yes.
Right? Do you enjoy voiceover?
Yeah, I do, very much. But it is a different type of acting. It's not easy, but it is a different type of acting, which I like also.
From those days back early on, those first appearances on ships and things back in the day, is there one role or one of those guest appearances or some of those things that kind of stand out as notable, or you look back now and you kind of laugh?
There was a couple of episodes or a couple of shows. One was called Parenthood that Robert Townsend created, and then the other one was Out All Night with Patti LaBelle and Vivica Fox. But
right.
The thing was that they were great shows and all that, but it was comedy.
Right.
And I love comedy, and I got some very big laughs.
Right.
And that to me was a lot of fun. I had a great time with that, and I had done a few sitcoms before then and after.
Right.
But I enjoyed that the most.
Kind of like Dinosaurs was, right? You got to do.
Oh yeah, Dinosaurs.
That was fun. I love the writing on that.
Let me tell you something. I actually got out an episode of that. the Solomon the Great, where he cuts the child.
Right.
Just hilarious. I mean, and that was very funny too, because they let you kind of go off and do
Right.
what you want to do with that. So,
Well, we appreciated all those different instances and love watching. Of course, big fans of Star Trek and all your good work on that. And it was great to finally meet
my
you.
pleasure, man. Thank you very
Go.
much. You betcha.
More to come from MegaCon here in Orlando. I'm KP. I am Stylin. StylinOnline.com. Almost like a Family Guy when you bring your character to a Family Guy.
Yeah.
Right.
But Family Guy was.
But it was always, if I can say, an applicable pissed.
Yes.
Right? Just picking up on this. Sorry. I was thinking Worf. I'm sorry. Hold on. 3, 2.
Battlestar Galactica.
Batman. Serenity.
What was that? Highlander.
The Empire Strikes Back.
Doctor Who.
Star Trek The Next Generation was my favorite.
Scooby-Doo.
Well, at the moment, it would be True Blood.
True Blood.
True Blood. I have to say True Blood, too.
She-Ra.
Doctor Who.
Star Wars, Episode 4.
Firefly, without a doubt.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Joker, obviously.
Family Guy.
Good choice.